How you doing? We're sitting here with another Monday Club member. Why did you join the Monday Club, and what has it meant to you?
Monday Club to me, Storm, has represented probably the best forum for local people to get together, to collaborate on issues, to meet colleagues, and to kind of mentor younger brothers who joined the club. As an educator, I always thought it was important for more senior educators to get together with the younger educators to mentor them in terms of becoming whether good school people, principals, administrators, and even good teachers. It's important for our community now, has been in the past, and will be in the future, for us to continue to have that type of relationship with each other.
What does the Monday Club legacy mean to you?
Okay, traditionally, the legacy of the Monday Club is that it has been probably the most significant forum for black folks in Wilmington, Delaware. With a history spanning over 3 centuries, it at one time was the only place that we had to go that represented the best cross-section of the community in terms of professional, non-professional, getting together, collaborating, and it has done that for more than 3 centuries.
Thank you so very much.
William Stewart.
Bill Stewart, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
I've been a member of the Monday Club for 32 years.
Why have you been a member so long?
Well, I first joined because of a person named Scotty, which was a basketball coach, and asked me to come down to the club. And I came down to the club, and I saw a lot of people that I knew. And one of the things that really drew me in was the idea that some of them played golf.
That's interesting. So a lot of the black guys played golf back then?
A lot of guys played golf back then. So I joined and played golf.
When you reflect back on some of the early days of the Monday Club, what are some of your fond memories?
My fond memories was the Monday Club is an organization of black people that got together back in the day when nothing else was really available for them. They got together for camaraderie, the ability to talk about politics. We also had the ability to congregate in the sense that we got a chance to meet and mingle with other people in the community. And that way we had the ability to exchange ideas and try to be involved in policies and things like that that went on.
Where do you see this organization continue going? Do you see it's continuing with new membership?
I see the organization continue growing, matter of fact, and we are taking even more interest in things that are going on in the community.
My name is Bernard Jenkins. They call me Jake.
Hey, Jakey, every time I come in here, we could call you almost Mr. Monday Club. Why do you like the Monday Club so much?
Well, it gives me a place to come and relax, and I can talk to the guys who I mingle with about various issues relating to the world, the city, and in fact, a lot of sports conversations emanate right here in the Monday Club.
An evening like tonight, you'll get an opportunity to talk to some of the guys you haven't seen in years. What do you think tonight's going to be like?
Oh, I couldn't wait to get here tonight after having talked to you about this affair. Then I thought this was going to be what we needed, and I expect to see some guys who I haven't seen for a while, and to get to relate some things that we had in the past, and some of the things that we have planned for the future.
It's interesting you say that. When you reflect on the Monday Club in the future and some of the guys who've passed on, what do you think of guys like Mr. Norris and Woody and those guys?
Well, they were the stabilizers in the club, and as you probably also know, Woody was a member like no other member. He was the one who really, he was the glue, in fact.
Did any one single person bring you into the Monday Club?
Well, Charlie and Brown we played basketball together, and they joined, but I had a job where I traveled a lot, so unfortunately I didn't get the chance to join when they joined a few years before me, but I wanted to be a Monday Clubber all my life.
Thank you. Is there anything you want to say?
Not really, other than I'm glad to be here, and hope that I'm looking forward to having a nice night.
Thank you, Mr. Hank. State your name.
Charles Hines.
Brother Hines, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club? I know you've been involved a long time.
I went into the club at the turn of the century.
Why?
Thanks to my dear doctor.
What doctor? Who was your doctor?
You know who is? Only one doctor, Woody.
Dr. Woody. Dr. Woody.
Woody brought me in about 6 months after I moved here.
When did he move here?
I moved here 2000.
And what has the Monday Club meant to you?
Getting to know people. Coming here, I able to meet a lot of people, able to participate in the community more, and above all, friendship.
Have you found it to be just a place to relax and just meet new people and fellowship?
Yes and no. I found a place to come and relax for sure, but most of all, associate with my brothers, my dear brothers. And I have a lot of dear brothers in this organization.
So when you say brothers, you mean like fraternal and other brothers? Monday Club.
Money Club members.
That's interesting because there is fraternal brothers here and Monday Club brothers, so it's a nice mixture.
Rather,
What do you, if you were to, what do you think some things that we could do to make the Monday Club even better to attract more younger guys?
I have to think twice now, but I think that it's up to members to bring young guys in, bring guys in to socialize and help a lot with the play.
What is your professional background? What is your? Well, I know you retired. What was your background?
I taught math for 36 years.
Taught math for 36 years. Can you help me out with my timetables?
36 years, 36 long years.
But I want to thank you for being an outstanding member and thank you for participating in this event.
It's been a pleasure, above all things, a pleasure meeting you.
How you doing? State your name.
Randy Randall.
How you doing, Randall? What does the Monday Club mean to you?
It means a lot to me. Number one, it's a historical black organization, black men's organization. I feel that I want to contribute anything I can do to perpetuate its existence, contributing to various causes, whatever it may take.
Who brought you into the club?
Bob Curry.
Bob Carey. What is your profession?
I'm a retired educator.
So you had heard about it in Bob Carey books?
I've known about it for years.
Wow.
Yes.
Have you met a lot of new people since you've joined?
Yes, I've met a lot of new people since I've joined, particularly new members.
What do you think is about the camaraderie of the Monday Club?
It's a great camaraderie. I think it exists at two levels because you have, and we're trying to bring that together now. We have a younger membership as well as older membership. And we see things a little bit differently, not negatively, but in a different vein. So I think we're trying to pull that together at this point.
What do you most look forward to this evening?
I don't know.
I mean, like just seeing other people.
When you say, what do I look forward to this evening? I look forward to the fact that many of the members who are my age and older will be here.
So you'll have a conversation.
Yeah, conversation.
Talk about like Sam Cooke or something like that.
Right.
We won't be talking about Madonna.
No, we won't be talking about McDonald.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, good luck.
What's your name?
Charlie Brown.
I'm Charlie. I guess that you were probably one of the longest members here, right?
Just about, yeah.
How long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
55 years.
What made you join?
It's a spot where you didn't have to worry about a bunch of just rowdy individual. You could come in, you could enjoy yourself, and the fellowship with the guys that was in there.
So that means that you joined like in the 50s.
59.
Who brought you in?
My brother, Guns.
so what was it like in the 50s being a member of the Money Club? And I guess the Money Club was on French Street then?
Yeah, we had bowling teams, and we visited various clubs, and they would come to visit us. It's just like a fellowship sort of thing, and it was just a good thing to be there. The guys were just good to go. We attended churches together and whatnot during Lenten season, and it was just a place to be. It's home away from home, to speak.
Is there anything that you miss most about some of the golden days or older days with the Money Club?
Well, when we were in the other spot, the bar was a little smaller, and it was just a little more closer, a little more comradeship there, because you could just talk and reach the whole bar just by opening the door. But see, you can't do that now, because you got almost a half a block.
Well, that's interesting you said it. Is there any memories that you could, like a certain night or a certain day, you say, wow, that was crazy?
I can remember one very particular night when we had the chairman of the House Committee, Noah Hall, had set up a night at Las Vegas, and he had a champagne fountain that ran for a week.
Well, how does a champagne fountain run for a week?
But it's run by electricity, and it just keeps.
So guys just kept.
You just come up and dip your cup or your glass in there all week long. That's what we had.
When you reflect and you see guys like Brother Woody, and I remember Mr. Norris, Mr. Proctor and all those guys.
Those guys, because they were what you would call Monday Club members. When they walk in, of course, you couldn't use the kind of language that I'm talking to you now that they would use, but everybody knew when they came in the house. And, it was just a good group of guys.
You had some serious political leaders then, like the Al Plants, the Herman Holloways, and those guys.
Oh, my God, yes. Political discussions every night. Every time they come up from Dover, Herman would get in his spot, Al would be in his spot, and it would be back and forth. All the bills that they were working on and what they hadn't done and everything else. But you kept abreast of all the things that were going on down in Dover.
Did a lot of the white politicians come to the Monday Club, to meet you guys?
Occasionally. The one that I can attest to that came most frequently was Frawley.
Okay.
Frawley had a photographic memory. If he met you once, Frawley could come in and call your name. If he didn't come in until about 3 months later, he could give so-and-so a drink and call you by your name.
So, what does Monday Club and being with some of your older members mean to you?
Well, it lets me know that those that you're seeing here now have basically the same feeling that I have. This was a place to belong. And that's why you see them here now. Those guys, 70-year-old and older. This was a place where they don't have to worry about, the youngsters just coming and just acting up. They just feel comfortable like that.
Is there anything you would like to say?
Not really, only that I appreciate the fact that you've taken your time and your efforts to give the old heads a night.
You look a lot younger than me. You were, and a lot of you guys, and I'm holding you a little bit longer, a lot of you guys were athletic. People don't know that you guys play some sports.
Oh yeah, we also had basketball teams then.
At the Monday Club?
Yeah, we had basketball team, softball team, bowling team, but can't get these guys over here now interested in playing anything. You can't even get them to play cards.
The most you guys go to Howard High School?
Yeah, most of them did. Now we had a couple that came from out of state, like Herb Norris. Herb Norris went to school in Chester.
He paid my first.
Well, Herb was everybody's man. Stone thug, but a good. Like the first time I met him, I said, "You ain't nothing but an educated thug." He said, "I want to thank you."
Mr. Charlie.
But that was my man, Sam Green. All right.
And enjoy. State your name.
Donald Evans.
I had to ask you your name. I mean, you act like you was offended. It's for the mic. It's for the camera. Donald, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
I became a member in 1964.
Wow. Why?
My father, my uncles were all members of the Monday Club.
So it was like a tradition.
Yes.
Why you think? Why were they members?
Because of the camaraderie that we had here, and they had friends that were members, but it wasn't hard to catch on that it was a place to be.
Do you have like some memories of the Monday Club?
Yes. In fact, I felt the Monday Club was one that gave me some support when I was in difficult situations in employment and all that. Members were the ones who sort of gave me things to think about, how to react to certain situations. And in fact, even when I was employed, the Monday Club was a place I met people who helped me out in my employment.
They said it was like the Monday Club had people who were butlers and chauffeurs and guys who worked at the DuPont company, and that was a place where they all came on Monday.
Yes, but prior to that, joining the Monday Club, I also served tables, and the people who were connected with that hired me when I was in college. So my relationship with the Monday Club was before I became a member.
If it was like just a few words to sum up what the Monday Club mean to you, or what the Monday Club means to our community, how would you describe it?
It was a place that the Monday Club gave support to the community, even though people didn't realize it. In fact, that happens today. The club does a lot of things supporting community and kids that the public is not aware of.
You know, you've been a member for like 5 decades. Where do you see it going? Do you see it surviving in this new generation?
Yes, I think once our young folk realize the gem that they have in the community, that they'll start joining and become members and be able to fellowship and create relationships that I was able to create.
I was talking about guys like Mr. Woody and Mr. Proctor and Herman and Al Plant, those guys. I guess those were some good conversations back then.
Always. In fact, some of the discussions that they had, especially during election time, very, very, very interesting. And you're able to pick up a lot of things, too, in those conversations.
I appreciate that. Anything in closing?
Yes, I encourage young men to join the Monday Club because they have some support here that they don't realize is available to them.
Elmer Rick Fitchett.
You know, we had an interesting conversation. Tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I am I'm retired from AT&T Diamond State Telephone Company. And I've been a member of the Monday Club since 1978.
Wow, that long. Why did you become a member?
Well, when I first came to Delaware, which was about 10 years prior to that, I started going to the Monday Club probably about 2 or 3 years later, and it was a nice place for, at that time, young professionals. It gave you an opportunity to meet up with the older members of the community who could really, number one, give you, show you around, give you darn good direction on who was and who wasn't, and how to get from point A to point B, quite frankly. And I took advantage of that, and it most certainly, and the wisdom that I got from quite a few of those members are the things that just has kept me going the rest of my life, really.
Well, who brought you in?
Oh, quite frankly, I can't really tell you who brought me in.
Now you tell your age. How can we?
Herman Holloway Sr. Was one of the individuals who sponsored me. I cannot recall. There were about 4 or 5 people who sponsored me and I know Herman was one, because Herman was the one who one day, as I was just coming in on my own, who gave me the word, "You've been here enough on your own."
Would you want to say anything in closing?
Number one, I'm really glad that you are doing this to really give our older members an opportunity to get together and to see each other, because some of them, they really do not get out as much as they have in the past. So I am quite sure that they will enjoy this.
Charles Baylor Jr.
Brother Bailey, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
Joined in 1990.
What has the Monday Club meant to you?
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of work that the community did. It was a place where I could meet people and socialize without worrying about any trouble.
That's a good answer. Who brought you in?
Pat Walker and Bill Stewart.
Wow. So,
Pat Walker.
That's right. And you know, and that's why we wanted to do this, because it's imperative that, you know, some of the older guys get a chance to socialize.
So I joined when they were over on French Street.
French Street. So do you have any stories about French Street?
Not really.
What is your professional background?
I'm a research chemist for DuPont for 34 and a half years. Originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
So you found this to be a nice outlet for you?
Yes. Bill Stewart used to invite me over on Fridays for happy hour before I joined. And I became very interested after that in people and discussing politics and whatever.
You want to tell me about some of the happy hours?
Oh, the happy hours were great. We had a lot of talk about politics. That was when some of the politicians were still part of the Monday Club.
How do you see the Monday Club continuing to grow?
Well, it's evolving. It's evolving, and as it should. As younger people have come in, there have been some new things done, but one of the things they're still doing is the community work, the work in the community. That part is still traditional, and this is a different venue, and it's evolved.
I appreciate it. Anything you want to say in closing?
I still enjoy the Monday Club.
Bernard Pinkett.
Mr. Pinkett, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
45 years.
Wow.
45.
Is there anything that stands out to you as being a Monday Club member that long?
Well, I came in for a particular reason because it incorporated all of the things that I wanted, that I liked, and that I was a part of. It was Kappa, the Masonics, the professional, the non-professional, the good people. That's the reason I joined.
Who brought you in?
Mr. Brinkley, the fellow who owned the pool room at 9th and French Street, Robert Brinkley.
Like when you think about some of the friendships that you developed over the years, what does that mean to you?
It means a great deal. I still have some now. Not just fraternity, but Masonically and just good people. But I still maintain some of those friendships that I developed when I first joined 45 years ago.
When you look at the Monday Club, say 40 years ago, 20, 30 years ago to now, how can we better it, in your opinion?
I think we can better what we're doing by reaching out more, by doing more in the community, by reaching out to trying to bring in more younger folk, because the older folk are only going to last so much longer.
So an evening like this, getting a chance to talk to some of the older guys, what does that mean?
It means that we're still on point. We're still doing things that the Monday Club was originally started for, to help the black folk in the community to be together, the black good folk, those who want to be somebody, to keep them together and to constantly do more to help each other.
If you could think of, say, like an incident or something good or whatever happened at the old Monday Club, what would you say? Like any event that stood out, like maybe talking to politicians or anything?
I always enjoyed the conversations with Boots Brewington, Al Plant, Senator Holloway, Brother Newman. They always brought a lot of interesting things that were really going on and that were important to the blacks in the community. It was always a special conversation, and you can say whatever you wanted to say, let your hair down, and no one would be against you or for you or whatever. But it was just real people.
Wow, thank you. Is there anything else you could think of you want to say?
Well, I appreciate folk like I really appreciate people like Norman Oliver who thought of this idea, and it's really what we need to be doing more of, bringing Monday Club brothers together and keeping us as one, whether you are a new member or a 60 or 70 years member. It's always things that are very meaningful that we need to be thinking of and doing.
Thomas Roberts.
Hey, Tom. We were talking to a lot of members, older members, about what the Monday Club meant to them. What does the Monday Club mean to you?
Monday Club means a lot to me in terms of the male figure within the community, and it's been so stable over the years. And I applaud the older members that went on beyond before me. And I didn't come into the Monday Club until they moved here at the new location. That had been 2001. But I've always respected the Monday Club. I just didn't have the time to give up.
Who brought you in?
Donald Evans.
And you tell people that?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
man, Donald.
You know, what are some of the some things you could say about the Monday Club as a member?
Well, I think I'm proud of the fact that where we are at this page, and the other part I'm proud of is seeing the younger guys that have come in and to join them, such as yourself, and has. It gives me hope that this will move for another 100 years, as long as we accept, the older men accept some of the changes that want to be brought in by the younger fellows.
That's interesting. Where do you see some of the changes?
Well, I think there's a lot direction in terms of being more visible in the community, being proactive with some of the programs that the younger folks want to instill within the community, like for educational reasons, for mentoring reasons, whatever. But these are things that I think a longevity club like this should be a part of and be very visible.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
I don't know if I want to shake your hand.
Reginald Sims.
Brother Sims, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
Over 50 years.
Over 50 years, wow. So you've seen a lot of changes.
I've seen changes, yes.
Why did you become a member?
Because my father, he was a member here.
So if your father was a member, that was probably like 70 years ago.
Yes.
Wow, what did your father do?
He worked for the state. Did the catering on the side too, like I did.
You were a caterer?
Yeah, I was a caterer too.
Why did you join the Monday Club? When your father had you join, why? What made the Monday Club so special?
Well, there were older men members here. I knew them. Wasn't too many young ones on here at the club.
So you could go in there. You knew most of the names.
I knew most of the names. I sit back in the corner though, I couldn't get in the conversation though. I just listened. I listened from what was going on.
So now you're like one of the senior members. So now everybody got to come to you.
Yeah, come to me. Yeah.
What would you say one of your most fondest memories was of the Monday Club?
I don't say what to say. I hear.
What was one of your good memories? Something that you look back on?
Oh, the guys in the club. A lot of these guys I knew. They were friends. Younger guys came in when I came in. After I came in, and I used to get along with them.
But I mean, you know, if you feel, you've been in the Monday Club for over 50 years, you're one of the senior members.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, but now, yes.
I mean, you know, then you think of guys like Mr. Woody and Proctor, and those guys were all members. You know, the Herman Holloways and Al.
Yeah, Holloway, yes.
I mean, those were some fun days.
Right? Fun days, yes.
How do we keep that going? How do we keep that legacy going?
Well, we getting younger guys in now. We should be changing now. The maybe changing. I know a lot of these young guys now. They're not jammed up like they used to be. Used to be like a clan. There's some sit together, and talk together.
You think that should be more open?
It should be open, yes.
That's a good point, and nobody's had that point.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Do you want to say anything in closing?
No, not especially. I'll just wait to see how the meeting goes.
Okay, thank you so very much. State your name.
Marion T. Wright.
Hey, Marion, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
14 years.
Why?
Well, you know, I grew up. It's a long story. You know, I grew up on Poplar Street, which is now Clifford Brown Walk, 1008 Poplar. And so I knew everybody in the neighborhood. Everybody I knew was a Monday Club member. I mean, doing great things for the community. Dr. Wilson, all of them, you know, they were all there. And every time I see the guys that belong to the Monday Club on the street, me being a young man, they'd give me a few dollars, say, you know, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep on doing what you can do, you know. And they just inspired me.
Where do you see the Monday Club going?
Oh, it's. I'm telling you, there's no heights to as far as the Monday Club where it can go, because you have a lot of great guys from all walks of life that's here, that's willing to do anything they can to help the community, to help each other out, and that's what they're really destined to do.
If you was to sum up the Monday Club and what it means to our community, what would you say?
I said it means a great deal. I mean, I get very uptight and really lighthearted when I see the Monday Club members digging in their pocket. You know, Christmas time, Thanksgiving time, just about any time when there's a cause to do anything they can to help the people in the community.
Thank you so very much.
Pardon?
I said thank you so very much.
You're very welcome, Norm. Thank you. You're doing a great job, too. Thanks for putting this together.
Hi, my name is Ray Colson.
How you doing, Ray?
Doing fine, man.
How long have you been a member?
52 years.
52 years? Are you still around?
Still around.
Why did you join?
Well, I was encouraged by some of my friends that were members. They had fathers and uncles and all. I didn't have any relatives around, but really a fellow a teacher by the name of Leon Holden.
Wow, Leon Holden?
Leon Holden introduced me, and an old fellow by the name of Jack Stewart.
So these are older guys?
Older guys, yeah.
So are you from Delaware?
I'm from Florida.
So this was like an outlet for you then?
Oh yes, it was an outlet back then, man. I mean, it was a place to go, you know.
When you think back, what are some of your fond memories?
Some of what?
What are some of your memories of the Monday Club?
Members?
Memory. What's some of the
parties. They had birthday parties, banquets, and Boots Brewington.
Oh yeah.
And my man Boots Brewington. Senator Holloway. Gary Foreman, these guys were really guys. They would come from work uptown and come down, come right over, and you know, you learn a lot. They're very informative. You learn a lot from these guys, you know.
Well, we thank you for being a member, and we thank you for all you've done.
I'm grateful to be here, and I'm glad still to be a member.
Thank you so very much.
You're very welcome.
State your name.
Sammy Congo.
Well, you just automatically think people know your name?
Yes, I do.
How long have you been a member, Sam?
About 40 years.
Why did you join?
Well, I thought it was feasible for me to join when I started working for my uncle, Ed Bell. And I knew that the Monday Club had such an influence on the community that I, back in the early, what year was that I joined? I guess the late 50s when I first came on.
When you say it had such an influence, what do you mean by that?
Well, anybody that was anybody belonged to the Monday Club back then. Yeah.
When you say anybody, mostly black men, though?
Mostly black guys, yes, absolutely.
When you think of some of the history of the Monday Club and like some of your fine memories, what do you think about?
I just, in terms of Wilmington, I think of the relationships between fine men and the Monday Club, and that connection between the fine men and the Monday Club that made this community a community. The Monday the Monday Club was the catalyst to bring all those people together.
Can you think of any other organization that still has had that impact in the past in our community, still have the impact?
Well, I was just talking to a guy back there, and the Elks Club was very influential. I can remember when they had over 500 members, and they had parades, and people wanted to go there. It was a fine place to be. I enjoyed being there. Of course, as I think integration had something to do with folks wanting to find better places, or they thought there were better places, but I think that there were no better places than the Monday Club and the Elks Home at that time.
Can you think of one story or any story relating to the Monday Club with you?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm originally from Newark, and I guess when I first met Cherry, the Monday Club ball was big, and so I can remember everybody's anticipation of being a part of the Monday Club ball, and you couldn't even get a ticket back then. Yeah.
And I thank you. Well, we thank you so very much for all you do, and thank you for being a member and sharing some stories.
Thank you for inviting me. This is a great deal you're doing it.
This is the last time I'm invite you to something too. How you doing? State your name.
Albert Gaither.
Brother Gaither, how long have you been a member of the Monday?
About 5 years.
Why did you join?
I was asked to be an honorary member because of my affiliation with the religious community.
So they need some prayer in this place.
You said it.
And look with the history. You know, how can we? And I think that's interesting piece though. Bringing the whole religious piece and minister. How can we get more younger preachers involved?
Well, since we have people from all walks of life in here, I think that would be a positive and a very necessary endeavor if some clergy would become active in here, because they have a lot of their members in here.
Wow, that's it. I mean, and nobody's brought that piece to the table so far.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Well, that's all right. We have you on the outreach. So I think we just got an organization here. So tell me, in your own way, tell me one thing that the Monday Club means to you.
Well, my late grandfather was a 30-year member years and years ago, and I like the history of the club altogether, and the fact that it does welcome people from all walks of life. You can sit next to your barber on one side and your minister on the other side, and break bread together in a very congenial atmosphere.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Leroy Burks.
Mr. Burks, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
Since 2001.
Why did you join?
Well, I want to get involved in the social atmosphere. Also, giving back to the neighborhood. And before that, I'm being an educator and teacher, whatnot, coach and so on and so on. I didn't have time. So after I retired, I had the time to do what I have to do to help out the club. Plus, they're in need of some much older men.
What do you think we could do differently to keep it going?
Oh, let's see. Well, the thing right now is monetary. We need to expand this building. We need to expand the parking lot. But times are tight, and it's sort of hard at this time to have fundraisers at the economy level. But I think we're going to do it.
Okay, as a black man, what does it mean to be a member of the Monday Club?
Well, it's really, for me, it's an honor and also a pleasure, being that Monday Club was, designed for a purpose back in the day, 1876. Slaves trying to get to, the black men, I don't want to say slaves, trying to get to Philadelphia under the underground, and the Monday Club was the stopping point, and they got some direction jobs or what have you. So being the first black club in the nation, and still, where we are now, it's kind of hard to see a building of this nature and what we're doing that has been established and still organized and still functioning and still going, we haven't reached our plateau yet, but we'll be there.
Thank you so very much. Mr. Gilliam, we having this event this evening with older members of the Monday Club. What does it mean to you?
What's that again?
We're having the older members here of the Monday Club. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me. It shows that they found the fountain of youth.
When you think of some of the history of the Monday Club, what does that mean?
Well, it looks like it's gotten darker.
How long have you been a member?
Oh, about only 50 years. No, I'm a young member. A very young member. I look around here. Where's Palmer Hunt? Is Palmer here?
I don't think so, not yet.
Well, when I came here about 50 years ago to Wilmington, I just made it. And when I say I just made it, I just made the color line. When I look around this room here, most of the people in here couldn't have made it.
I wouldn't have made it.
You wouldn't have made it.
Why do you think it's still going on there? Why the Monday Club?
I think that the brotherhood spirit. I think that the high degree of camaraderie that existed here in Wilmington, and I think the caste system among people of color that helped it a lot.
I want to tell you, thank you for coming this evening.
Huh?
I said, thank you so very much for coming this evening.
Say what?
Thank you so very much for coming. Thank you for coming to.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's been a good experience, and I really don't believe that the Monday Club fully recognizes the important role that it has played, and I don't think that it fully recognizes the important role that it can play as a mentoring force in the city of Wilmington, and in particular, given the problems that the young people in Wilmington have, but even more importantly, it has a very important mentoring role with the people in Wilmington who think they've made it. And that includes members of the Monday Club. A large part of the problem is its important role as role models. For example, many people in the community who claim and who thinks that they've made it really don't understand the importance of the kind of the spirit of camaraderie that exists here, and how important it is in terms of the exchange of ideas that exist when men of color get together and just talk. People have to understand that reaching out and reaching back is important.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. G. Thank you. Hey, Jim, while you're sitting here, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
I'd say 30 or 35 years probably.
Why did you join?
I wanted the friendship and a rapport that comes with men of distinction and men who care about this community. And also, as the brother said, I wanted Monday Club on my resume.
Does that mean that puts me in the category of men of distinction?
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, I didn't know that. So what are some of your fond memories about the Monday Club?
The model that it serves in this community. We talk a lot about, at least in recent years, about community self-help and the community doing more for itself. Talk a lot about organizations finding how to plan, to set goals, to do things together. And this organization is a model, outstanding model of that young folks and other groups and organizations can see the Monday Club as an example of the way to do things, of how to experience longevity and stability, organization.
We thank you so very much for coming. You know, is there anything else you want to say in closing?
It's good to have my friend Jim Gilliam here. We've known each other for a lot of years. And when I came in here, I'm seeing some people I haven't seen for a lot of years. I guess that means I'm getting old.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And I want to thank both you guys, man. This is really touching.
Charles Michael.
Brother Michaels, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
Going on 2 years.
Why did you join?
I joined because I thought this club would do a lot for the community here in Wilmington, and this is what we need as black men, to influence some of these younger kids out here, and the Monday Club does that.
Well, that's good you said that. Do you think we're doing a good job at that?
Yes, we are, but we need a lot of improvement. We can do better.
Where do you see the Monday Club in the next 10, 15 years?
Next 10 to 15 years, I see the Monday Club as a positive influence among the black youth here in Wilmington.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And they told me you was a hell of a coach.
You better believe it.
But you know what, though? But in all sincerity, Brother Robinson, you've been really involved, though. I mean, sending out correspondence and keeping everybody in touch.
And I have served on the board for 6 years, and I hopefully I served well, and look forward to serving more. But I'd just like to say I appreciate this, because I have been trying to research the club, and it is very difficult because a lot of the information about this club has been lost. I appreciate the fact that we have been able to find the notes and the records from 1924, but I would love to find what happened from 1893 to 1922-23.
But you said something interesting, and Cy Wolford is the guy who found that information for us.
Okay, that's very good. I would like to speak with him. I have been to the archives in Dover, and there is very little in the archives in Dover. I have asked the Historical Society to look up information about the Monday Club. And they've told us to go to themondayclub.org. And I said, we put that in there.
Thank you so very much.
It's something. Guys, we have so much history, and we should find all of our gentlemen here who have been here for the years that we talk about. Those 50 years you were talking about, that's who we need to tap. And we need to get that information. Thank you, Brother Oliver.
Harvey Stump Johnson Jr.
How long you been a member?
Well, I first joined the Monday Club in June of 1966, and at the time, I was the youngest member in the Monday Club.
Wow.
Yeah, now I'm probably the youngest senior citizen in the Monday Club. Now, the guys you used to talk about, Herman Holloway, Selassie, these are the guys I used to hang out with. Right. Even though my father was a member of the Monday Club, he never asked me to join it. But how I ended up joining the Monday Club, because I happened to run into Junior Evans, which I knew when I was a kid, and we went hunting one time, and he said, won't you come up to the club? I said, okay. So I came up to the Monday Club with him, and I liked it, and then I saw it coming again. Then later on, he asked me, so you want to be a member? I said, yeah. So he signed the application, somebody signed, and I was a Monday Club. Back then, Monday Club balls should be at Hotel DuPont. Now, the Monday Club started at the railroad station bar on Front Street, where there's a garage there. Well, I happened to go to that place because they had a club there, a bar there, but I didn't know at the time that I went back in the '64 that it was a shortcut by the Monday Club. Wow. So I'm probably one of the only Monday Clubs now that actually went to that club, the railroad station bar.
Wow.
Right. So that's right.
Well, we want to thank you for being a part of this event.
Oh yeah. Because I said, my wife said, well, join the Monday Club. This is my second wife. I said, well, yeah. I said, well, okay. I said, but at least when I die, it'd be something positive said about me belong to the Monday Club.
You got something positive to say tonight. Thank you, brother.
Okay, thank you.
My name's Earl Berry.
How long you been a member?
About 7 years.
Why did you join, Earl?
Don't know. Just come down here one day and took my money.
But we hope you don't regret it.
It's a organization that was made out of a bunch of blacks who were trying to do something for the community. I came in to see what was going on, and they told me to join. I said, yeah, I'll join. How much? Wrote the check out, and that was it.
Have you been happy that you've been a member?
Yeah.
How do you think that we're going to be changing?
I don't think we're going to be changing.
Okay.
I think it's still going to be a membership and people together.
Thank you so very much, Earl.
Okay.
Kendall Mobley, president of the Monday Club.
Robert Oliver, house chairman.
When you guys see something, an event like this, how does it make you feel?
I mean, words really can't explain, because Rob actually brought me into the club. And I was sold on being a member of the club strictly by the history that he gave me. So I wanted to be a member prior to even stepping one foot into this place. And to see the stories with Jim Seals and Jim Gilliam and all these guys, it's unreal.
Well, Rob, you've been really involved with the Monday Club. An event like this, what does it do for you?
Hey, Storm, I tell you something. I cannot think of a better time that I've had outside of tonight. This has really done something to me. It's a couple guys I wish that was here to see this, to be here with, that would be these guys, temporaries like Dr. Woodrow Wilson, who was big on saying, we uplift ourselves and then the community. That's what we're all about. But to see these guys here, I mean, it's powerful, man. And you just did a great job in putting this thing together. Man, I'm telling you, I cannot thank you enough for coming up with this idea.
But you two guys are very much involved, and is there anything that you can learn out of this experience from some of these older guys?
I think the main thing I can learn is to see how well these guys communicate and just collaborate with one another. They're telling jokes. They're not in here talking about burdens and how bad the economy is. They're talking jokes. They're talking about the finer things in life. And if we can take that attitude and give it to our present members, well, they are present, but our newer members, that would be great for me.
I agree with Mo. Just to see these cats laugh, they still got some war stories that they had back in the day, and they reminiscing on them old war stories. It's a good thing to listen to, man.
Well, this is going to be on TV, and I just want to thank these two gentlemen for helping me this evening to make this event a success. The house chair and the president of the club. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Interview Emery Graham. Not only has he been a mentor, but he was one of the guys like him and Mr. Norris who brought me into the Monday Club. Emery, what did the Monday Club mean to you then?
Well, the Monday Club, as I told you young guys, was your inheritance. Your forefathers left this club with 100-some years history of black Wilmington men to the future, and that was who you guys were. And at that time, you remember, the club moved from French Street, which was the last operation downtown that African Americans owned, to here. But it had been in a membership decline, and Walter Ransom told me why. He said that during the 60s and 70s, when the drug thing first hit, the nephews, sons, and grandsons of the members fell out with their elders. And the elders were embarrassed and ashamed, and they stopped coming to the club. And that was the death knell, because this club always grew because the fathers bought the sons, the grandfathers bought the grandsons, the uncles bought the nephews. When I got you to get involved, I was betting on the Olivers.
Well, I hope your bet worked out.
I'm standing here talking to you.
Well, I want to thank you, Emery, for all you're doing. Thank you for bringing me in.
Sure, and I'm so happy, and thank you for picking your inheritance up off the ground. It was money laying on the ground.
Thank you.
Yes,
and I know there's plenty of money in your pocket. I'm glad we got this on tape.
I can't wait till I can see you after this is over.
Gary Carroll.
You probably like the youngest older guy in here.
Youngest older guy? Yeah.
Why did you join?
Well, because it's an upstanding organization, man. And you got a lot of distinguished young men in here, and I just thought it had a value for me, man. You know. Yeah.
Have you been happy with the membership?
Oh, definitely.
What can we do to attract more younger members?
Well, we just got to get the word out and market. You know, I think there's also an opportunity to do some mentoring and, you know, even maybe have a junior Monday club. You know, where through sustainability, and guys go out and go to college, become men, they come in and keep this thing going, man. You know.
Well, we appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, man.
Mr. Johnson, how long have you been a member of the Monday Club?
55 years.
What is like, if you were to think back, what are some of your memories of the Monday Club?
Well, I remember mostly playing sports. See, we had baseball, basketball, and now we're into golf.
You know, Charlie Brown was saying the same thing. I didn't know that.
Right. And then we had bowling teams.
So we actually had sports teams.
Yeah. We were the national champions, and we went to Brooklyn, New York, and won the championship up there. We beat Joe Lewis's Brown Bombers.
You hear that? He said they beat Joe Lewis and the Brown Bombers.
No, that's the name of the team.
Okay.
And what do you think of?
Who brought you into the club?
A guy named Zeke Carter and Boo Fleming.
Okay.
But my grandfather and my uncle were members before that.
Wow. So we're talking like over 100 years.
Yeah.
And
they lived in Delaware City. And
so they brought you in?
No, they didn't want me in. But they couldn't stop me.
Well, at least some of the truth is being told.
Yeah.
When you look at some of the guys, some of the older guys here who you remember, how does that make you feel?
Most of the guys in here, the older guys was like Fleming, Carter, Ernie, boy, I can't remember his last name.
Well, we want to thank you for being one of the older members and still keeping the Monday Club together.
Well, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And knowing you has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I know. Well, it's because you were born in May.
That's right. And it's the nicest thing he's going to say. I'm glad we on the camera. Wow, this has been an incredible evening. The Monday Club is one of the oldest civil rights, black social organizations in the country. And to have these guys come here this evening and socialize and camaraderie and fellowship and friendship has been a rewarding experience for this Black History program. I want to thank the Monday Club. I want to thank my brother Rob for helping me out, and also Edith Prison, who's a woman, probably should be the first woman of the Monday Club. But in saying that, to have Jim Gilliam Sr., Mayor Jim Seals, Sammy Congo, Mr. Pinkett, Jakey, just so many guys. I don't want to mention names because I might leave some people out. This evening has been great. I want to thank you guys. Alvin, you guys always do a great job. I hope the people who are watching this show, I hope you enjoy it, because this is the history. This is history that I can't even comprehend. And I want to thank God and everyone involved. Thank you again.